Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy Cast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio, it's painful.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We are getting closer to actual not Saints football because we don't have preseason games, but we're getting closer, not even to real practice with full uniforms. We're getting closer to practice with helmets and shorts.
I'm not even going to lie. Are they practicing right now? Like, I am so out of the loop.
Yeah.
Like, everything is out of whack, out of schedule. You know, it's mid-August right now. We'd be 2 weeks into regular training camp. This week Thursday would have been, I think, the Hall of Fame game. We might have had a preseason game this Sunday, maybe, huh? Or Saturday?
Yeah.
Usually if there's the Hall of Fame game, then that
Then the
weekend
next-
is off, and then it's, yeah.
Yeah, right. But either way, I mean, I'm just like, are they really practicing? I have no idea.
It's out of sorts. And I was telling you,
happening?
me and Andrew were talking about it in that, the preseason games, we get excited about them, and then 5 minutes into them, we're like, this is lame, and we remember why we hate the preseason games and they're boring. But it is sort of like
This year,
guidepost.
James Winston was going to be playing, so.
Yeah, but it's sort of like a guidepost in that a sense of like it gives you something to look forward to in August. You're like, there's a game on Thursday, there's a game on Friday, and then you recap the game and you look forward. Now we're just kind of lost, and it's going to be weird in a sense of how to fire yourself up and get excited. But the regular season games are going to start. The one thing, Andrew, that I want to start with is, Amy Jost, a writer for NOLA.com, Times Feed, she wrote a good feature she laid out all the protocols that the Saints are doing for COVID. And I didn't realize that they make you wear a watch, and it apparently beeps if you get too close to a person within 6 feet. And it times you to let you know how long you were within 6 feet of a person. So basically, so they can trace it back to be like, hey, they know who you were in contact with and how long. I didn't realize they were going that hardcore with the NFL, but I guess I should have, because the NFL has a bottomless pit of money, and if they want to make everybody wear a watch that can track you everywhere you fucking go to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, they can do it.
I mean, it's pretty much just a Disney magic band, really. It's just a magic band.
Yeah. No, you're right, Ralph. And, it's my dad, actually, he was over today, and he pointed out to me, showed me an article from last year that the Saints were the 49th most profitable franchise in the world. So, it kind of goes back to what you were saying, Ralph, about money. Number one was actually the Dallas Cowboys, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
You had Man U and Barcelona up there, some soccer clubs, but the Saints were in the top 50, and
that's crazy that the Saints are in the top 50. Because you think of like Barca and Man U and all the soccer clubs in the world, and then you think of baseball. Even though baseball maybe it's not as profitable but I would think there'd be like 5 or 6 baseball teams, and then I would think there'd be, 50. There'd be like 10 or 15 more profitable teams than the Saints in the NFL, and then basketball, I think there'd be 7 or 8, and for them to be in the top 50.
Do they include the Pelicans? Is it an all-in-one deal?
No, just the Saints.
Were they ranking Benson properties?
Just individual franchises, but Ralph, it's Barca, it's not Barca. There's a little squiggly line under the C, that makes it sound like an house.
That I don't know how to pronounce. Soccer.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Specificity.
Come on,
Ralph.
Are we still correcting Ralph on pronunciation?
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing this 11 years now.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
No, look, man, I think, obviously, and this is where, and I know we're going to talk about this in a minute, where college football is kind of on life support at this point, no pun intended, and it's it's not looking good for them. But
it's not going to work here anymore
and
anyway.
This is why the NFL is going to plow
Mr.
forward.
Mike.
There's just too much money at stake, and they actually have the funds to make it happen. And so, look, if they can find a way to be, because here's the thing, like, I actually think it's twofold with the Saints. I think part of it is it's just the NFL doing due diligence and making sure that they're doing right by the NFLPA, that they're following the rules, that they're giving the league the best chance of playing. But on the other side of the coin, you've got Sean Payton, who is going to look for any fucking edge he can find. And he's not worried about following protocol. He's worried about winning games. He's worried about a player getting COVID during the season and how that's going to affect his game plan, because he knows the other teams aren't going to turn over the stones and dot the I's and cross the T's as tight as he is. So he's looking for, like, how can we use this to our advantage if other teams are going to have to shelve 4 or 5 guys before playing us in a game? Hell, if I can find a way to make sure that none of our guys are positive that week, we're at a huge advantage.
Well, I think that's part of it, and I think part of it, Andrew, let's just be real. The NFL, if a positive case gets in a team or they have an outbreak, they want to be able to trace that shit back. And if it was a player not doing what they were supposed to be doing, the NFL, they want to yank that money away from them. You know, for instance,
how do you guys think they're going to deal with a huddle? Like, to me, that's kind of the first thing you kind of have to scrap is a huddle where everyone's
You're not
in each other's face.
This is why I think this whole thing is like just a walking contradiction. Like, it's ridiculous to me.
Of course.
You know, you're gonna have all these guys, and you're gonna, like, try and separate them, or, like, I've heard in college football, they want to extend the sideline, you know, the full length of the field, so everybody can be spaced out, the coaches, the players. But all these teams, whether it's college or whether it's professional, I mean, these people are a family. They spend more than half of their waking time together, doing things together, playing together, talking together, learning together in rooms, sharing meals together. Like,
yeah.
That's their pod, and if I feel like
playing
if one
video
person's
games
gonna
in
get
the
it, then
locker
they're
room,
all-
goofing up, playing ping pong. It's just it's the whole culture, right?
But it's like, I think they should just accept that. And so, you know, because you're right, they're going to be doing things like the huddle, and they're going to be on the sidelines, and they're going to be at practice, and the offensive lines are going to be lined up directly across the defensive lines. And then that's a whole nother thing. Like, what if you can't have an offensive lineman who's positive, and what's that going to do? It's just the whole look. I think they're going to play football. I definitely think they're going to play football, just like basketball's going on, hockey's going on. I texted
Pro or college?
Pro. They are going to have pro football. College, I do not think they're going to have college football. I do not think they're going to have college football. I think they will have pro football. And I texted you guys yesterday, whatever. Maybe I was still naive, but I guess I was kind of feeling like there was a hope that fans were going to maybe get to go to the Saints games. But I was, like, kind of going to sleep late at night, Thursday night or whatever. And for some reason, I just had this realization. I said, there's no fucking way fans are going to get to go.
No,
I mean, one of the things I was thinking about is, like, what if you had fans in the stadium and the camera pans away to, a group of fans or whatever, in between plays or coming back from commercial or going to commercial, and, like, they're not wearing a mask. Like, just think about the optic. Just think about the optics on that. When you see a fan in the stands at an NFL stadium and they're not wearing a mask, like, forget it. That's going to be the end of it.
It'll be what was the guy in
the NFL's
2009?
say,
The unknown.
we're not allowing fans, and they're going to have to backtrack. And it's that, in addition to the fact that you already have some teams that have said we're not having fans. The Raiders said
yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, then who wants to be the team that allows fans and potentially risks their fans' safety or whatever?
Well, here's the thing.
When other teams said no, it's liability. It's just like there's no way people are going to be going to games this season. Absolutely no way.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Give me my money.
Here's the thing with with the fan thing is Dave was the last person to give up hope, but I think you cling to these things that you want to believe that it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you something with fans in the stands that you brought up, Dave. It would have been the 180 degrees from, remember the unknown who dat in 2009 where people were like, oh, who is he? He's possibly homeless. Let's help him. Let's raise money.
Right.
If they see Dave Cariello in the dome not wearing his mask, high-fiving someone, they will shame your ass on social media.
Right.
Oh yeah, you would never recover. The podcast would have to kick you off.
Nah, we wouldn't. We'd be like, it's Dave, you know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That's what I think. That's what I think it would be. They're not having fans, but my thing too, Andrew. We'll get into
Dave
college
would have to issue an apology on the podcast.
Here's the thing
I think
that I
they'll
want
play
to
the
say.
games, though.
Here's the thing that I want to say. Look, college football went from this week, which is really weird. They announced the new SEC schedule where LSU added 2 more conference games and did away with non-conference, and all the leagues announced their conference-only schedules, which made it feel like it was closer and it was actually going to happen. And then Saturday it sort of turned 180 degrees and was like, they're thinking they're going to have a meeting Tuesday and they're going to call it off. But just because college football gets called off, don't think that affects the NFL. And I'm going to tell you my theory why, and both of you can shoot it down, is look, college football has a problem in that students are going to be, some of them are going to be at campus, most of them are going to be remote, and you can't say football players are student athletes when our students aren't going to campus, but we're making the football players go to campus and play football. College football, they desperately want to cling to the belief that football are amateurs and they're not professionals. And if they make them play during coronavirus in an empty stadium when nobody's on fucking campus, it burns the amateurism facade to the ground, and they can't have it. So I think the college presidents have come to the realization, we just got to punt on 2020 and we'll reset it in 2021. We cannot give up the facade of amateurism. The NFL is not like that. Everybody in the NFL, Andrew, wants their fucking money. The owners, the coaches, and the players, they all want their money, and they're going to play, and they're going to risk, put whatever you think the risk involved in playing, whatever it is, they're willing to do it because they want their money. And I just think, don't get negative and think that college football, if they cancel this week, which it looks more than likely they will, just because that happens, don't think it's going to affect the NFL. The NFL is going to plow through this, as horrible as the quality of the games may be. They're going to plow through, and we're going to get NFL football. That's my belief.
I agree. I mean, a big question for me is just what it's going to look like, how many games get canceled, how many games get postponed, if there's a big outbreak before a game. But the NFL has a big thing to their advantage, which is that they're testing daily, or at least weekly, and sometimes it's so if someone gets it, they're going to know immediately, and they're going to know who's been exposed. They're going to know the source. They're going to know who they came in close contact with thanks to the technology. And so there's a way to mitigate the damage. That's what I'm saying. The biggest thing about this virus is the asymptomatic spread. You have it, you don't even know, and you're spreading it around. A bunch of people are getting it. They don't realize you're sick. And I think the way this NFL is approaching this, they're going to be able to trace it back to the source and get that person out of there as quickly as possible and mitigate the damage. Now, here's the thing. They've had a long time to figure this out, and this was what they came up with. Now, it's not a bubble. It's not the NBA. I give them credit. There's reasons why I think it's easier for the NBA with smaller rosters and all that. But
the NHL too.
Yeah, but they've pulled it off. Give the NBA some credit. And
breaking news, Andrew.
Never available.
I got breaking news. The Pelicans have been thrown out of the NBA bubble because they were contaminating it with their play.
Facts only, yeah. Jesus, the Pelicans. God,
Today was pretty terrible.
That was frustrating. Yeah, I mean, the whole bubble experience has been awful with the Pelicans, and they need a new coach. But anyway.
Zion airball on a free throw.
I saw that.
Was the season low? I mean, that's got to be the fucking low point of this fucking season.
I mean,
Jesus.
JJ Redick was the only dude trying. My God, man. But anyway, so I think my big disappointment with college football is that they've been sitting on this like they knew in March that their season was in jeopardy. What have they been doing for the last 4 or 5 months? Like, this is the best they've come up with, is that they're just going to cave and cancel now?
But you can't. But that's the thing, Andrew. It's not just about setting up procedures. If you have LSU players playing football in an empty Tiger Stadium where no students are on campus, you burn their amateurs to the ground. And
well, I actually think that there's a chance that college football this year is just going to be the SEC. I could seriously see the SEC being like, nope, we're playing. COVID's not real.
Yeah, I can see that
and
too.
every other conference is like, what are you guys talking about?
It.
You crazy? We're shutting this down. And so basically, college football is just the SEC this year. I could even take it a step further and say that the season is just going to be LSU versus Alabama, one game.
Hey, here's a question: If it's an SEC only college football season and LSU wins the SEC, do I get to buy another national championship LSU merchandise, and do they get to declare themselves back to back as I'm holding my LSU national championship glass, drinking a Dreamsicle from Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company?
Dreamsicle, huh?
It's great. It's like a Blue Moon if you thought that peeling the orange and dropping the orange in the beer was too difficult, and they just dumped a bunch of orange flavor in it. It's literally like drinking a Dreamsicle from an ice cream truck. It's amazing.
You know, every time I want to bang on IPA and humiliate Dave for his terrible taste in beers, I can't in good faith and good conscience do it based on what you're drinking, Ralph. Every week.
Great. It's delicious.
I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking Second Line Brewery, a Saison Name Desire, which my buddy Brad left over here yesterday.
Wait, is that not an IPA?
No, it's not. It's a Saison.
Ah, look at you, branching out.
After this, when I finish this, I've got a little surprise coming up after this.
You're drinking out of a wine glass, which is a little weird.
Well, that's usually how I drink my beer.
Andrew's not drinking at all because he's been just abusing his body for like 2 weeks.
Well, I broke. Okay, well, we've talked about this on the podcast actually, and people have listeners and watchers have noticed my my fancy IPA glass that I had that's like specifically made for IPAs. I fucking dropped that on Saturday and broke it, so I don't fucking have it anymore. It was the fucking.
Maybe that's the universe trying to tell you something,
weekend.
Dave. No. Maybe that's the universe telling you that IPAs are not good for you.
I was so pissed, dude. And like I could have, it was like one of those things. It was like I put it, I laid it on top of the counter, but I put it on top of a towel, and it was in a precarious position, and it just started tumbling over, and it all happened in slow-mo. And I feel like I could have. That's my cat. Let's see my cat. Yeah. And I feel like I could have. I could have, if I had just reacted quick enough, I could have actually caught it, but I just froze and just watched it all happen.
You know, all this time, Dave, you've had a cat, and I never even knew it because it actually behaves when we're on the fucking podcast and not going ape shit.
Well, you got to think Minxie is like, she's not just a cat. She's like the fourth, fifth member of the crew is what she is.
Minxie is the name of the cat?
Minxie, yeah.
Like Jinxie from from Meet the Parents. Minxie cat, where are you? Minxie cat, I love you.
Here's a thing that. By the way, you should.
Flush the
toilet? Me and Andrew talked about it on Friday. And you should subscribe and become a patron at the $10 level. You get the booze bundle. You get a Saints player legend card, like Stanley Jean-Baptiste or Garrett Grayson in the box.
My wife
puts those cards individually in the box with loving care. You should do it so you get the podcast every day.
Yeah, Ralph, I noticed actually on that topic, someone in the Discord channel posted their booze bundle and showed that they had received Ricky Jackson. I was like, what the hell is this? You actually got a great player card.
It's Saints legend card. They can all be Saints legend.
I
Reggie
thought
Jackson,
it was only going to be terrible Saints.
No, we got Rick. You could get Ricky Jackson. I sent Morton Anderson
Everybody's
out.
a legend for a different reason.
Legend.
I
Garrett
see.
Grayson
Some
is
of
a
them are
legend.
good on the football field. Some of them are geniuses off of the football field.
Oh,
I'm
And they're
still holding out
play.
hope for John Fourcade.
I got John Fourcade was in the 1990 Saints team set that I bought. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Somebody could get it. Sign up at the $10 level, and
My
we'll
wife.
ship that out to you in August. Just do it. I'm saying it's worth it. But we were talking on Friday for the Patrons Only podcast. Me and Andrew were talking about how, the NFL is going to have to test either late Saturday or early Sunday morning, and it's going to be chaos. You're going to have teams that are going to have positives, false positives, whatever, and you're going to have like, oh my God, so-and-so is not playing. A bunch of this team has 3 offensive linemen. And somebody mentioned, a patron mentioned that me and you, Andrew, we messed up in that the Saints have the ultimate solution to any of those problems. It's Taysom Hill because he can play any goddamn position. So the Saints, he will win the Saints a Super Bowl because they'll be like, Taysom, we need you to play left tackle.
Yeah,
We need
go
you to
long snap.
Go long snapper. Go
kick the
corner.
field
Like
goal.
Taysom can do it all, and he's the cure for whatever ails the Saints. What position, Dave, would be the most fun to see Taysom Hill play in an emergency?
Spoiler alert, it's not quarterback.
No, it's not cool.
I don't know. I mean, he already plays quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Like he's what more? That's why we love him, because he's already super fun.
I think
because he
corner.
plays all the fun positions.
Throw a touchdown, have a pick
I think
six.
it would be most fun to see him get a sack. Don't you guys
Ooh,
think? Like,
that's
having
true.
him line up at
That's right.
defensive end.
Right.
Yeah. Just have a blitz.
Or maybe like an interception. He's just
What
like-
if they put him at linebacker and he just lights up shoots a gap and lights up Tom Brady? How great would that be?
I mean, they'd have to build a statue next to Gleason, right, outside the dome. We'd have to get
Maybe
start a
that day.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
We'd have to start the GoFundMe. See, the thing is, who in the chat room? Andrew was like mildly surprised on Friday when I thought of this. He's like, "Wow, I can't believe you thought of that." Like, I think of everything from the gambling perspective. It is going to be madness trying to gamble on football this year, because a lot of times if you're a degenerate gambler like me, you look at the lines and you're like, oh, the Monday line, I really like that line. I gotta jump on that before it gets bet down, or I gotta jump on that before they bet it up, or whatever. There's no way that you can look at these lines on Monday and Tuesday and put any kind of money on them. Like, you got to wait until these Rona tests. And Dave, we were talking about doing a special podcast every Sunday morning for breaking news. The injury/Rona report is going to be the most dramatic, nerve-wracking experience of our lives, I think, every Sunday.
You just made me realize that fantasy football is going to be a stressful nightmare
dude,
this season.
fantasy football, fucking forget about it. Like,
Yeah.
it is gonna be a nightmare. It is gonna be a nightmare because you're gonna find out that, like, you are screwed at wide receiver, and you're gonna have to go on the waiver wire. Like, fantasy football, just forget about it. But Dave, back to my question, which I forgot. I hope you remembered it.
No. I was about to say that wasn't a question. That was just a mini rant you went on.
Well, no,
What
but
was
I
the
mean,
question?
do you think the injury report /Rona report will it be as stressful as I imagine it, or am I overblowing it?
No, I think that's going to be very significant. I would imagine. You said testing Sunday morning. I don't think there are tests where you can get the
Well, you
results
could do
back.
rapid. You could do rapid tests, right? You could do. Can't they do the rapid test where you get it back in like 2.5 hours? Couldn't they make every player?
That doesn't sound as accurate to me as maybe a 24-hour test or a 48-hour test or something like that would be. But anyway, Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned the whole
Dave, it's not like the 7-day tests that most Americans take are that accurate either. Just
no, I mean, you mentioned the whole fantasy football thing. I mean, me and my buddies, we play in a league, and we drop $150 a person or whatever, and there's weekly payouts, and there's payouts for the winner and second place, and it's like, how are we going to handle this if you got a guy you got 2-3 guys on your team and they get coronavirus? How is that fair to you? And you've got money riding on the line, and this
Oh
isn't
my
even
God.
this does not fall
Trades?
within the normal course of normal football luck or injury luck or anything like that. So
Oh my God, I can't.
yeah, I don't. It's gonna be.
I can't. I'm
I
like
think you're right.
being a commissioner for the Saints happy hour leagues, if we do them this year. Like, I can't imagine like two people do a trade on a Tuesday, and like then you find out Julio got the Rona on a Thursday, and they did like a 5-player deal, and one of them's like, well, Julio got the Rona, I want to void that trade. Oh my, it's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Like, it's just. It's gonna be madness.
yeah, and the thing is, we're not even gonna know half the time. Like, going back to what Dave was saying, what the hell is going on with the Saints right now? I know they're all in a hotel. I think they're practicing, or they're at least meeting and doing stuff, working out. I don't know. Like,
well, I mean,
I feel so in the dark. Like, Nick Underhill's not even tweeting anything.
Well, no.
He doesn't even know.
No. Nick broke major Saints news today.
Are you about to talk about the food?
No. We'll get to the food in a second. It's more important than that. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson announced that he changed his name officially to the CD Deuce, and he is now my favorite Saints player on the roster. He went out and changed his name, like Sean Puffy Combs, from Puff Daddy to Sean John to just Puffy. Like, I hope he changes his name every year. This is amazing, Andrew. He is awesome. He's going to the Pro Bowl. Is he going to put CD Deuce on the back of the jersey? Like, is that really going to happen?
Wait. Have we heard anybody pronounce this yet? Are you sure it's not Duce? I need Andrew lived in France. I need him to. I need his opinion on this because
DUCE is not a French word.
I think it's
not
Duce.
like
Duce.
no. Well, if it was
Mr.
French,
Duce. Can we call him Mr. Duce?
If it was French, it would only be pronounced that way if there was an accent on the E. DUCE is just Deuce. That would be how you pronounce that in French.
I got it. CD Deuce. It sounds like the
No.
rival bar in Roadhouse 2, but it's amazing. He better have
What's
5.
the reasoning behind this?
Because he's awesome. No, the reasoning is like it's a new chapter in his life and blah blah blah. Let me see. Nick Underhill actually did the screen grab. I mean, he's got to be amazing this year, right, Andrew? You can't change your name and just. He said, "Time to pave the way for my own image. That I want no more judgment thoughts on me because you really don't know me until you understand me as a person. I won't speak unless spoken to." Emoji fingers crossed. He better have at least.
That didn't clarify anything. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, I'm more confused, not less.
What the hell?
Yeah.
He better have at least 5 picks. If you're gonna change your name, you got to be superstar level.
Can
good.
you guys think of anyone who's done that besides Ocho Cinco in the NFL?
No, it's
He hate me?
amazing.
Well, no, that was never his name. That was just on the back of his jersey.
I wonder if it's just like a branding thing, or it's gonna be like Sean Payton is now gonna refer to him as CD, like in post, like CD had a great game today.
Well, no, I think CD is the first name and Deuce is the last name. So to your earlier question, Ralph, I think it's just gonna be Deuce on the back of the jersey. Right?
Yeah. It's Deuce, D-U-C-E, not.
I mean, look. If you're going by the way it's spelled in phonetics and whatever, like, it should be Deuce. I'm not going to begin to assume how CD wants us to pronounce that. How he envisions that being pronounced, I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
Milk was a bad choice.
Just saying. You let me tell you, CD, you got to be spectacular this year because name change. You gotta raise your game. He was amazing as a rookie, so we'll see. But
on the flip side, if he's awful, he can be like, oh, that was some other dude, and change his name back.
I'm going back to.
And then it's like I'm back to being CJ. I'm gonna be great this year.
CJ's back.
Like I feel like he can now. That's like a built-in excuse now. You got the Rona and you got the name change. It's like a built-in, some other dude. You know, if you bounce back the following season, you're great. You change your name back, then it was just, it's like you never made it. It was never you, right?
Dave, you're a businessman. You have 2 stores. You're a mogul, and that sort of thing. Gayle rented 4 floors of the Lowe's hotel to create a mini Who-Dat bubble for the Saints. How many points do you think she's going to get for renting 4 floors of the Lowe's hotel for a month?
Like credit card points?
Like, I don't know, like does Lowe's have a
rewards
special
program?
Reward program?
4 floors for a month? That's like what? What do you think? There's, let's say err on the low side and say 20 rooms a floor. So that's 80 rooms a night. And that's 30 room nights, so 80 times 30. What's 80 times 30? That's
240? No.
Yeah, 2,400, 2,400. So that's 2,400 room nights, basically. That's
I mean, she probably got a rate because there's no tourists going to NOLA, because of the
I think she's good to go. She probably gets to stay at Lowe's for free for the rest of her life now.
They got that American Express, like the black card, if you're like a super special high spender. Maybe they have like a Lowe's blue card or something where you get.
I don't think you put that on a credit. I mean, I feel like this is an invoicing situation. I feel like this is a net 30, net 60, net 90 situation, maybe. I don't know.
Do you think, Andrew, Sean Payton's got a suite, right? And oh, by the way, did he unblock you yet? You went to Connor and you tried to get Sean Payton to unblock you because you made a
I don't know if
Vicodin
Connor
joke.
is a friend of the podcast. He's a patron. I don't know if he's listening tonight, but I reached out to Connor and
desperation.
For those of you that don't know, I guess this was months ago, but Sean Payton tweeted something. And I wrote back, and I just made a bounty gate joke, or sorry, a Vicodin gate joke, and it wasn't like
blocked.
It wasn't like taking a shot at him. It was just like kind of, I don't know, making light of something I thought was funny, and he blocked me. And at first, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because I was like, well, he never really tweets anyway. This was before quarantine, actually. This was before Rona and everything.
Didn't know he was
going
to become a social media
Sean Payton never
superstar.
tweets anything interesting. He blocked me. That's kind of sucks. But and then COVID happened, and then he starts tweeting like a madman. He's like sharing plays from the playbook, and he's throwing shade at all these people. And so I'm like, oh my God, like how this is the worst. Like besides the fact that it's slightly embarrassing that I cover the team and the head coach blocked me, it just like was so much worse because he was throwing shade to all these people. And so anyway, fast forward, I see him on TV with Keyshawn Johnson, and they had just had a Twitter spat where Keyshawn said something about the Saints and how Breeze was old and Sean Payton was kind of dated. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't Keyshawn, it was Brandon Marshall. Because Brandon Marshall had been signed and, maybe there's some bad blood. But so Brandon Marshall throws some shade at Sean Payton on Twitter. He barks back. And then they get on TV and Sean Payton's like, oh, it's all good. Like, they're kissing, they're making up. And, Sean Payton basically says, hey, look, anything that happens during quarantine, during COVID on Twitter, like you get a pass because things are just weird right now. And I'm like, come on, man. Like you're blocking me. Take me up. So anyway, this weekend I finally messaged. Oh my God, we're gonna have to talk about that in a second.
Unblocked.
But I finally messaged Connor and I was like, dude, can you ask your dad to? This is really embarrassing, but can you have him unblock me? And I told him the story, and he's like, That's really funny. So at least
Well,
you
here's
thought
the
it was
thing,
funny.
though.
Well,
Connor has mentioned that his dad struggles with the fundamentals of social media, and he was joking that he's getting better with doing images right. So,
yeah.
going
that might be
through the
thing. Maybe
process
no
of
going back
unblocking
from
you,
blocks,
Sean
yeah.
Payton might not know how to do it. He'd be like, fuck that guy. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. That's too much trouble.
It's too much work.
But here's the question, Dave. They got 4 floors of the Lowe's Hotel. Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis, and Drew Brees, like, who's getting the primo rooms?
Those 3 guys, you just mentioned it right there.
Who else is
And
getting
Taysom,
primo?
Taysom
Who's getting
gets,
primo rooms? Demario
Taysom's
Davis, Michaels
Taysom's
Thomas,
got to get a primo room.
Cam Jordan.
If they're going by contract, do you think Jameis Winston is staying in like a storage room, like the broom closet?
Jameis Winston is staying at a hotel on Tulane Avenue.
Do you think Calvin
he's in the
Throckmorton
lobby?
Has,
He's in the
has
lobby
the,
on
has
the
room on wheels?
the couch.
Does Calvin Throckmorton have the room on wheels?
He's in the he's in a room service cart.
He's like a third person. He's like the third person in a 2-person room, and he's like his bed is
He's
like
got the cot.
He's got the rollaway cot. They could just roll it out of the bedroom whenever he gets cut, and then it's back to a 2-person room.
All right, Dave, let's talk about this drink in your hand.
Oh,
what
yeah.
the hell is this?
No, I made this. I made this special for this evening. This is a watermelon martini. I made this myself from scratch. This is Tito's vodka, and then you know how you can buy like the pre-cut watermelon in the container at like Whole Foods.
Mhm.
Like you take the juice from the bottom of that, you pour that in with the vodka. You take maybe 1 or 2 pieces of the watermelon, you muddle that. I added a dash of just classic cherry bitters, and shake and then pour, and it's delicious.
Add a little cherry Coke, and you've done the full Ralph.
No.
This
This is natural-
Dave Bartender
that's
segment is brought to you by.
No, this is mostly vodka. Tito's. Again, I can't stress that enough. I am a huge fan of the Tito's. But no, this is natural watermelon juice. There's nothing artificial about this. This isn't. You can't get this at Buc-ee's. Okay, folks? You're not gonna get 64 ounces of this plus a couple of squirts of syrup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many of the watermelon pumps did you get?
Hey, well, here's the thing though. That with Dave is I didn't realize Tito's vodka was a thing until they got on national news where they were like they tweeted out and was like, "Hey, don't use our vodka as a hand sanitizer." I didn't know they existed. I was like, "What is But they tweeted out. They were like, "Don't you? We are not. Our vodka is not a hand sanitizer." But
Right.
all right,
Just to answer.
Jeff.
Yeah. Wait. No.
Jeffrey Benko.
Yeah,
we gotta address this.
I have to personally address Mr. Jeffrey Benko in the chat here, who wants to know if my drink comes with a purse, and I say nay to that. Nay, it does not come with a purse. It does look like a Cosmo, though. It does look like I should be hanging out with Carrie Bradshaw and the other girls on Sex and the City.
if I had the Sex and the City theme, I would play it, but I don't because I have a penis. Oh my God. All right, so listen. The thing, one of the fundamental things of this show is me mispronouncing names and doing bad segues. So I don't know how to segue into this. So we'll just do it. Listen, it's been a horrible month for my family personally because we've had 5 people contract COVID and die. It's just awful. But Andrew, we also had another horrible thing happen where a podcast listener who was a hardcore fan of the show passed away, and I know you were friends with him, and I know you wanted to say a couple of words.
Yeah, well, Ralph, yeah, obviously with everything that's going on with your family, it's it's one thing like COVID being out there in the world and knowing it exists, but when it hits close to home, with people on the show, Kevin's dad passed away, and Ralph, you've had 5 family members now, so it's real, it's out there, and it's so that's terrifying, and we certainly feel for you and your wife that's going through a lot with that. My wife.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's okay to say that when I'm saying this.
My wife.
But
Yeah.
thank you. But no, Michael Stolfi is he's from Pensacola, and he it's not COVID related actually. He's been battling cancer for 8 years. Big fan of the show, big listener. He's never on Twitter, but he was active on Facebook, and he would always send me messages. Always wanted to talk after shows and talk about the Saints. Huge Saints fan. Yeah. And the guy was kind of a legend in his own right. You know, he had a very serious diagnosis 8 years ago, and the diagnosis was really bleak for him. And he was just one of those guys that kept trucking. He would run 10 miles a day during chemo. He would be given 6 months to live, and then a year later he'd have completely clean scans. And so he kind of defied all odds. I mean, you look at like Drew Brees and how he attacks winning a Super Bowl, and we kind of say how crazy he is and diabolical and just his process. That was Mike Stolfi with attacking cancer. And so for him to go 8 years, he lived his life to the fullest, always positive. He was always on Facebook being very open about what he was dealing with, and encouraging people to live their life and get out there and do their thing. And so, I'm going to miss kind of the banter back and forth about the Saints with him, and definitely pouring one out today. He passed away a couple days ago, but huge fan of the show.
And thanks to everybody for the nice words on Twitter. I appreciate it. And listen, I'm not going to go on a rant and tell you to wear your mask and social distance and all that, because it's too political and people believe what they want to believe. The only thing I'm going to ask of people is, when you see that people have lost loved ones in COVID, don't say, well, did they wear a mask? Did they do everything they needed to do? Or on the flip side, people are like, well, were they old? Because if they're old, well, then they probably would have died anyway. Just don't say, but just have compassion for those of us that are going through this, and don't qualify it. Like, oh, they were stupid. Herman Cain, he died. He was stupid for going to the Trump. Like, whatever. No. Just have compassion, because it is the worst, and I wouldn't wish this on freaking anyone. So that's all I'm asking. Just have compassion for those of us that are going through this. Another thing, another awkward segue is Drew Brees is saying that he's cured his struggle
finger
with
licking.
He's cured the finger licking, but he's also said that he struggled his ability to complete the long passes. And Nick Underhill, he's delusional. He's been gone a year. He's like, well, I think the Drew Brees arm truther stuff has peaked, and we're beyond that. And I tweeted him, I'm like, Nick, you've been gone a year. You have no fucking idea. We're 2 Drew Brees 50-yard bombs away in September from ESPN doing an outside the lines 30-minute show on whatever Drew Brees has done.
Barr. What was that guy's name? John Barr.
John Barr.
Yeah.
So, do you think Drew Brees, he cured quote unquote his finger licking problem? Do you think he's cured his arm strength problem?
It's finger licking good.
It's finger licking good now. But do you think he's cured his? Do you think he's cured his can't throw deep anymore at 41?
I'm sure.
Not without licking those fingers.
Look, if there's a way to.
That's just my Cosmo talking.
If there's a way to train, to find a way at 41 years old to improve your arm strength, and I don't know, find a way to get a little bit more air, Brees, he would be the one to find it. So I'm not going to count against Drew Brees ever. But he is 41 years old, and look, people were saying, well, his thumb's going to be better this year. This isn't a thumb thing. Like, his arm decline, this goes that predates the thumb by years. So, him not being great at throwing the deep ball, like, I still just think he's not a top 15 deep ball thrower in the NFL. He's just not. I
called
don't know that he
drugs,
ever was, but
Juge.
he certainly hasn't been for the last
You
5 or 6
think
years.
you think the NFL, with all the corona testing they're going to be doing this year, you think they're going to have time to drug test people? They don't give a shit what people are doing.
Well, that would be one way to increase his arm strength.
I mean, I'm just saying, like the NFL, like you could do all those steroids, German blood transfusion, horse HGH, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to put in your body, they're not going to care as long as your Rona test comes up negative. So I'm just saying it's possible.
Look, if Breeze wants to get some kangaroo bone marrow in his shoulder, and that's what it takes to win a Super Bowl.
I've heard that kangaroo stuff is that's the good stuff.
It's the best, yeah.
All
So look, I'm for it. I'm here for it.
So we did a little behind-the-scenes peek for you guys where we did a little after show where we recorded Dave's first experience going to Buc-ee's. But I want to give you another peek behind the curtain is, we talk, I send the guys the show topics and we talk about, hey, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. Dave tweeted me, he's like, I don't care about the show topics, whatever. I need you to go on YouTube, and I need you to rip this audio of this song. I'm not even going to tell you people what the title is. I'm going to play it for like 15 or 20 seconds, and then I'm going to pipe it down, and Dave's going to fucking explain himself.
You know I wipe really hard, and my toilet paper's weak. Sometimes I break right through, and my fingernail is rubbing up against my poopy butt cheek. And I'm completely unaware of what's going on down there until I pull my finger out of my butt and I stare at poop in my fingernails, poop in my fingernails, poop in my fingernails.
Dave,
Wow. It goes on like that for a little bit.
The fuck is that?
How do you discover this?
That was Poop in My Fingernails by the Toilet Bowl Cleaners. That was I got turned on to that song by an 8-year-old, my buddy Miller. He turned me on to that. He's a friend of my son. And we were messing around with Alexa the other day and telling Alexa to play songs, and he knew that song, and he told Alexa, he said, Alexa, play Poop in My Fingernails. And that was the first time I got to hear that song. And I think you can admit, as soon as you hear it and you listen to it, it's catchy.
It's catchy. It is.
The lyrics are incredibly well
If you want the
written.
cleanliness of your fingernails to improve, go down to the nail salon and ask them if they'll remove every one of your fingernails.
My son's gonna love this
It
song.
might seem extreme, but I'm telling you, that's the only way that they're ever gonna be completely clean.
Boop. Is that it? Oh, that's how
That's
it
it.
ends? Okay.
That's it.
That feels like a dueling piano mainstay at Pat O'Brien's.
It does.
It's like it's on par with Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, it's just it's
It
just an
sounds
epic. It's
like-
an epic piece of music.
It sounds like something Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec would have sang with his band when he started performing for children. Like that's what that sounds like.
I mean, like we listen to me and my kids, especially when my son was younger. Not so much now with my daughter, but we always used to listen to like Kids Place Live on Sirius XM. It's a radio station for kids. They play some Disney songs, but then they play silly songs. They play like Imagination Movers. For those of you from New Orleans who are familiar with the Imagination Movers, but so they would play silly songs. So like like the silliest song I could think of. Was like a song called Mama Tooted, and it's about like how your mom farted or whatever. But it wasn't as. But this is like on a whole nother Poop in My Fingernails. This is on a whole nother level because it's very descriptive and it's like this whole story. I mean, it's really an adventure. You go on an adventure while you're listening to this song, and you don't even know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
It ends up with you going and having your nails ripped out.
Oh, well, listen, it's an amazing find by you. I was just like, what is it? And the thing was, I was expecting like when you sent it to me, I would go to YouTube and it would have like 50 billion downloads, and it was just something that kids loved and I didn't know about it. But it only had like 800,000 listens, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but for YouTube, not really. So listen, we got to get.
I know these kids, these YouTube people. They're getting so many.
I was gonna say, Ralph, 800,000 listens. I mean, you could only hope that our podcast.
I mean that's it's a lot. But I mean, you look at like Siren Head and like Blimpy. They have billions.
JoJo, Siwa, Unspeakable. My son watches Unspeakable with the Minecraft shit. Even I remember when my kids were young and we would play like really young. They were like 1, 2, and we would go on YouTube and play like really kid songs like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And those videos had like 15.7 million views, like just basic shit like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And these people are like monetize. Of course, you're monetizing that, and so you're making money off of this, and you're not even doing a goddamn thing.
So we got to get to the mailbag because we got a ton of good questions tonight. We got to kick it off with the music. This song is just like the best. We need to have Morton Anderson and Brian Hansen on. Maybe if we make a lot of money, they can sing it live.
God, I love this song.
So
amped.
It is.
I just want to start jazzing.
Ralph's getting a little more. He's got this little like. It's not jazz hands quite, but it's kind of like this.
Jazz hand.
Jazz hand. Because remember, as his son Max
says,
would like to remind his father.
You only have one good arm. I have 2 good hands, Dad. So here's a question from Alexander. Speaking of that, Andrew, what's stronger, Drew Brees' arm after slapping towels during quarantine, Kevin's hangman apron leg drop, or Max's 2 good karate arms?
I gotta go with Max because it's almost like a superhuman thing. Like he shows up to karate. He hasn't practiced at all. He's small. He's an offspring of Ralph. So he shows up to karate, and you're immediately assuming, look, this kid hasn't practiced. He's small. He belongs to Ralph. Like what? This kid's not gonna execute this.
It's a failure wagon.
And then he breaks the board in half. So I would go with Max's karate chop. In fact, I would wonder if maybe Max can impale and injure Saints opponent quarterbacks during the season.
He probably could. Mike asked, Dave, this is a good question. Worst defense, Pelicans playing in the bubble or 2012 Saints?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or 2012 Saints, man. Boy, I'd like to see them go against each other and see what happens.
I could swear that Jason David and Brandon Browner were on the field together in the bubble. I swear to God, I saw it.
I mean, God, what a disappointment the Pelicans are. We already talked about the Pelicans, didn't we, earlier?
Yeah. Teams just rain threes on the Pelicans. It's incredible.
I'm gonna leave it to the bird rights to really break it down. But goddamn, I mean, they're just so disappointing.
The bird rights guys are awesome, though.
The
highly
bird rights,
recommend that podcast.
Go there, seriously. They are killing it with their podcasts and their articles, and they're friends of the show. Check them out.
Well, what really sucks is that we haven't had any sports, and so when you get 8 Pelicans games for us, it's like, all right, finally something. And for them to lay an egg like this is just so disappointing.
I will say this. Thankfully, I gotta give my Islanders update. Thankfully, I have my New York Islanders who have won their way into the NHL playoffs, and they will be facing the. Oh shit! Who are they playing?
Well, the Astros.
The Capitals. They're going to be playing the Washington Capitals.
The freaking Astros are terrible. The Astros have managed to have everyone in their bullpen injured, and they managed to have a brawl today where teams are trying to social distance. MLB is on the cusp of having to postpone or cancel the season, and the Astros are like, hey, let's have a brawl. Fuck social distancing. Let's have a fight. So I was flipping back. Disappointment in the Pelicans and the Astros just going back and forth today. It was terrible.
Ooh, I have a quick topic. I don't know if you guys are in the Discord channel today, which if you're a patron, you have access.
Well,
come hang out with us and chat with us. But I was going through some Saints memorabilia that I have, and lo and behold, I find, the stack of ticket stubs. And one was like from 2007, I want to say, 2008. And Charles Grant was the player on the ticket. And I guess I didn't remember this at all, but I guess Buford Jordan was there at the Saints Hall of Fame. You go to, like, they have like Saints alumni guys, and I guess I went and I never go meet the players because I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I want to go get my seat and get ready for the game. But the Buford Jordan was the guy, and I guess I stood in line probably because no one did. It probably was like go straight to the front,
except Jim Mora.
And I had his autograph. It said like 23 Buford Jordan on my Charles Grant ticket stub. So I found it. I took a picture of it and posted it in the chat. But we've been talking about Buford Jordan. This has been the off season of Buford Jordan.
Yeah. Well,
so speaking of, I found an autograph.
Speaking of the Discord chat, that patrons have actions, which you should sign up as a patron because the Saints chat in there is 1,000 times better than what you get on Facebook and what you get on Twitter. And Saints Rabbit asked a great question tonight. He said, Dave, do you think you could beat Sean Payton in golf, and what would you be willing to wager? Andrew, do you think you could beat a 50-year-old Breeze, should Breeze be a woman in this scenario? And what would you be willing to wager? And Ralph, what would you be willing to gamble on these matchups based on their answers? Of course, I'm down to gamble on anything. So, Dave, we'll start with you. Could you beat Sean Payton at golf?
Does he play? I don't know if he's like really a player.
Yeah, he plays like in the celebrity tournaments. He's pretty good.
Is he?
He's pretty good. Yeah.
He caddied for somebody too at a Greensboro Open.
I don't know. I think it'd be close. I don't know how. I don't know how good Peyton is, but I mean, I can. If it's a short, if it's an easy setup, I can shoot an 83 and 84 or whatever. I would say that's got to be what Peyton's shooting. Peyton cannot be shooting.
I'd have to bet on Peyton.
How often is Peyton playing golf? So
I feel like Peyton would intimidate you and just like trash talk you.
Oh
and getting
that's
your
the
head.
thing.
But
mess
the
with
nipples
you.
get in the way though of his swing. Like that's my thing. Like, can he have like a good, can his,
I hope Connor.
Well, would his nipples would the trash talk and his nipples so disorient you that you would fall apart?
I think Dave his first shot would go.
I would be hella nervous to play.
In a hazard,
to play with Sean.
So what about you? Could you beat a?
Is there anybody else? Is it just me and Peyton, or are there other people that I can
No, it's you and him.
Deflect.
Heads up.
It's just
play.
me. It's me and Peyton. Oh,
it's you and Peyton, and it's like Caddyshack.
It's
It's me and Juge in the bushes gambling on it.
See, I think Sean Payton would talk mad trash to you too,
God.
Dave. He'd be in your head so quick.
He'd be, Especially, he'd talk more.
He doesn't know anything about me. See, I know so much about him. It would be easy for me to talk trash about him. He's a public figure. I've got all kinds of dirt on him, but he doesn't know me.
Would you be
Unless he listens to the podcast?
Would you be like driving the ball down the center like 270 and be like, "Worry about your meat, Sean," and then pick up the tee and just walk off?
Hey, Dave, you want a word of advice?
Yeah.
Don't bring up Vicodin Gate.
Yeah, I still get to follow him.
Yeah. So Andrew, could you right now beat 50-year-old Breeze in your
I was thinking about this question. So I would actually rather play him now than when he's 50 because I would worry that when he's 50 he's out of the league and he's looking for other ways to stay healthy and he's not playing football anymore. So I could see Breeze being better at tennis at 50 than he is now. But yeah, I think I'd beat him. If I played him right now, I would be worried about like a best out of 5. I would say that the longer it goes, just in terms of fitness, and the more nervous I would get. But if we're just playing like a set, I feel pretty confident I would win that. I mean, you just got to think like he's got endurance clearly, but he doesn't play tennis. He's I'm sure he's still good at it, and but he's a football player, and I've been playing tennis my whole life.
Though,
I played in college, so like
Zach Strief.
I play 3 times a week.
Zach Strief beat him at ping pong, and he practiced in a broom closet for like a
but
week.
Zach
and then
Strief like is not a racket sports guy. Like I would crush
true.
Zach Strief at ping pong.
Well, here's a good question.
I bet you he probably covers so much area of the table. I mean,
yeah, but you got to go right at the
6'7".
body. You got to go right at the body when they got the big wingspan. It's tennis
And
101.
he's
You
a
go to
fucking
the body.
Professional NFL athlete. I mean, I know he's a big guy, but I bet you he moves a lot faster than you fucking think he does.
Nimble.
Oh, for sure. I bet he's good, but
I mean, that's what I'm
feel
saying. Like Drew
confident I would
Brees had to
beat Zach Strief.
practice to beat him, and he did it during the year. So, like, I think if he had a heads-up match with
wait a
Jude,
minute.
Oh, well, I
he'd
didn't
be
say
ready.
anything about playing Breeze a second time. I'm just talking about one time.
And you want him in season, right? You want to play him like this year, like November 1st. Like, you don't want to play him in the off season.
You're
But-
playing Breeze.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's a good question.
Wait. I have to. It's like required by law that we remind everybody that Drew Brees beat or played Andy Roddick.
Yeah, that's true.
As a
That
kid.
was like 30
He
years
beat
ago.
Andy
just
Roddick.
saying,
Andy Roddick was like
I'm
5.
really obligated to mention that you're not allowed to discuss Drew Brees playing any sort of racket sport without talking about the fact that he played Andy Roddick when he was 15.
Yeah,
It's like
I guess
mentioning Jimmy Graham played
I'm just
basketball.
covering our contractual obligation that we have
I guess
here.
I mean I did hear that this offseason he played some tennis with Tom House as part of his like build-up regimen
That's
to
right.
getting in shape. So
He's gonna have a
I
rocket
would
arm
want to
this
know how
year.
much he's been playing like the last
Rocket
5
arm.
years. But my guess is it's not that much. So I would take my chances. I feel like I would win that.
So you know what I like? So I played ice hockey. I got pretty darn good at ice hockey all the way through high school. So I like the fact that, Sean, Drew, Taysom, whoever, they can never challenge me to ice hockey. I will kick the shit out of them. That'll never even it'll never even be close. They have no chance.
You'll
So
forecheck
I
their
like
ass
this-
so hard
I'm
they
happy-
won't know what
Taysom
hit 'em.
Hill would beat you, Dave.
now,
Taysom Hill loses at nothing.
Yeah. Taysom Hill would power play you into oblivion, son.
I mean, maybe Drew would
No,
wipe the
can't-
court with me. I don't know.
that's-
Maybe.
Well, maybe.
All right, last question, and then
Well,
we'll get out of
isn't
here.
there a part of that question that you're supposed to gamble on? this
Oh,
route?
I would take.
What happened
I'm
to the
taking,
music? Damn it!
I'm taking Sean Payton. I'm taking Sean Payton all the way. I'm taking Sean Payton all the way in golf. Tennis,
What? Oh,
I would probably take Breeze if it's off season when you play, but if you play during the year, I feel like Andrew would focus everything on his entire life around beating Breeze in season. I think if it happened in season, I'd probably bet on Andrew because you probably get good odds. I'd probably get like 20, 25 to 1. You know, like Breeze. If I bet on Breeze, I'm not making any money. I got to bet on Andrew because I get
Yeah,
better
how much
odds.
prep time do I have too? Because I'd be doing some serious training in preparation for this.
Final question from Dale. Dave,
oh, Tony.
when is Breeze going to start the
Duce.
damn camp quarterback competition again? Are we not going to have Drew Brees' quarterback competition this year because of the Rona?
No,
In camp?
definitely not. What was the question? I didn't hear
The quarterback competition. Are we going to have
No,
it?
I don't think so.
I mean, they got to have it. It's
I bet-
amazing.
yeah,
you
they
got
will.
Drew,
He's gonna post a video.
They got Drew, Jameis, Taysom, and Tommy Stevens. They got to have it this year.
They'll do it.
Oh my God, they'll have something.
They got
You know, Drew got a sponsor. They're gonna
It's
Drew or the
happening.
Saints got a sponsor. They'll be making money off that. They'll do it social distance. It'll be fine. They'll have it. Dale. Don't worry about it. They'll have it.
Dale.
Well, who's your money on? Speaking of betting and gambling, Ralph, you going with Tommy Stevens?
I mean, Drew Brees wipes the floor with them because it's all accuracy. It's all throwing accuracy. It's never like running fast or avoiding
Well, he's
Whatever.
always coming up with the games
Yeah.
too.
Like it's
He
like
already
it's,
knows what he's
right.
good at.
it's totally stacked in his favor, you know?
It's not like he's like, all right, Taysom and Tommy, we're running the 40. You know?
Yeah.
No, it's never. Hey, let's see if we can hit this guy 50 yards away on a seam route. Let's try that one, Drew.
Yeah.
How come you never do that drill?
No, it's always that. Drew Brees, like, just I think the only person that's ever defeated him, I think he lost when they did it with another team, like with the Chargers. I think Philip Rivers.
Yeah,
beat
Rivers,
him.
Philip Rivers. Yeah.
That's it. That's the only problem he's been defeated. But
Yeah, Luke McCown's gotten him a couple times, I feel like.
Luke McCown. So, this wraps up today's show, guys. Thanks for joining us, everybody in the chat room. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna have football. You need to get your booze bundle. $10. Sign up. It's freaking amazing. Koozie, 2 cups, a shot glass, and a Saints Player Legend card. Why? You're making money signing up for the booze bundle, so you should do it. So, guys, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate everybody in the chat room. For Dave, for Andrew, for Kevin, who's MIA, I'm Ralph. Until next time, the bar is closed.